Yes, Shabbat Shalom to each and every one of you. Shabbat Shalom to those of you that are coming in. Shabbat Shalom to you that will see this. Shabbat Shalom to each and every one of you. This is the day that Yah has made, and we rejoice in it, and we are glad. You know, this is the first time we could technically say that this is Shabbat afternoon coffee instead of Shabbat morning coffee. My apologies to each and every one of you, but hey, I got into Shabbat mode very early, relaxing, and I should have been in a little bit more of a hurry, but hey, all praises to the Most High. We are here, and we are here together. We've got a good show for you. It's a good session, and you know what? Hey, we're going to have fun with it, and we're, of course, inviting each and every one of you to get involved. This is going to be a wonderful Torah portion, as well as not just the Torah portion. We've got something interesting, at least I think it's something interesting, for Shabbat morning coffee. And it's interesting for the Scholars Corner. And we're going to go ahead and we're gonna enjoy this. This is going to be great. So, hey, be right back. Here's the intro.
See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
Thanks to my brother. He said, change the title. I thought maybe he was being funny because I needed to change it to Shabbat afternoon coffee, but no. Actually, I thought I updated the title, but it looked like it did not take. So hopefully I did change it. And so, hey, hopefully it will be changed in what you are seeing on YouTube. Let's just go ahead and let's continue as we always do. We always magnify the Most High. We always pray, and this is who we are as a people. We never want to forget who we are, our heritage, our practice. Let us get ready, and yes, we are going to pray. Let's get ready, and let's forgive anyone that we need to forgive. Forgive me for being a little late and for the title being wrong. You know, hey, let's forgive one another, right? And let's get ready to pray. All right, we magnify the Most High, we magnify you, we bless you, we honor you, we glory only in you. We thank you. This is the day that you have made, and we do rejoice in it, and we are glad. We thank you because you are our joy, you are our peace, our holiness, our righteousness, and all that we hold to be dear, all that we hold to be wonderful, all that we hold to be pure, holy, and good in this life, in this existence. We give you the praise, the glory, and the honor. We worship no other but you. We have dedicated our lives and pledged our allegiances to no other but you. And so in this, we say thank you. Thank you for all that you are. Thank you, Yah, for all that you have given. Thank you for our brothers and sisters. Thank you for each and every one that seeks to follow your laws and statutes and your commandments. We bless you, we praise you, we magnify you, and we want to thank you. We say, Slikhalanu, which is forgive us and have mercy upon us. Rahamlanu, forgive us and have mercy upon us, because we are the people of your covenant. You have sworn to our forefathers to redeem us. You've sworn to them to save us. And we await your deliverance. We await. And we rejoice in the meantime. And we give you all the praise and the glory and the honor. In your name, Yah, and in your name alone, we say Aman wa Aman. All right, not only do we praise, but we also, we pray. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do an oldie but goodie. Yes, we are an oldie but goodie. Here it comes, coming to us from Psalms 1 and 2. Here we go.
This is a man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, but his delight is in the law of God. In his law does he meditate, in his law does he meditate, day and night and day. In his law does he meditate, in his law does he meditate, day and night. In his law does he meditate, day and night, night and day. Does he meditate day and night? Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law, the Lord. In his law does he meditate, in his law does he meditate, day and night and day. In his law does he meditate, in his law does he meditate, day and night. In your law do we meditate, day and night and day and night. In your law we meditate.
Praise and magnify the Most High. We that have breath, we magnify Him and we praise Him, not because our voices or our instruments are perfect, but because we love Him and we are dedicated unto Him in everything that we say and do.
In His law do we meditate, in His law do we meditate, day and night and day. In His law do we meditate, in His law do we meditate, day and night. meditate day and night. And in your law do we meditate day and night.
All right. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Going to give some shout outs. Let me tiptoe into the chat room and let's see who is here in this late hour of the day. Hey, we have peace and blessings to my brother from another mother. Yes, my brother, Bergen Paris. Peace and blessings to you, my brother, to you and your lovely family. Peace and blessings to you as well. We have Josh and Penny, the dynamic duo, are with us. Josh and Penny smoking in the Smokies. Peace and blessings to you, my people. I love you. I love you. And also, we have, who else snuck up? Oh, It's All Good is up in the house. Peace and blessings to you. It's All Good as well. To my sister, Jacqueline E. Bugs, came in and just had a seat at the table. Didn't even slam the door this time. And peace and blessings to my sister, Hanaya Israel. Peace and blessings to my brother, George Evans. And my sister, Hanaya Israel, if I recall correctly, you are in London. Peace and blessings to you from London. All right, all right. My brother, George Evans, is here. Yes, he is. My brother, George Evans, the one that asks such good questions. And who else is up in here? Well, we know more are coming. And I know that, hey, we're a little bit late. We're dealing with the lateness of the hour, but hey, it's all good. We even have It's All Good up in here, so it's all good. Hey, we're not worried about it. All is well, all is well. So we're going to have a wonderful session here today. You know, we've got our different segments. I love it, love it, love it. And hey, EJ Love just gracefully walked into the room. Peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you, my queen. We're going to go right into the Torah portion for this day. Yes, we are. We're going into the Torah portion, and I want you to grab your Tanakhs. Now, I know that you read it, right? I know that you read the Torah portion for today, so I'm going to read, and we're going to actually get into the Torah portion. So let's take a look. All right, here we are. We're ready for the Torah portion. And as stated before, I'm not going to read every verse because you've read it. Of course, surely you have read it. I trust that you have read it. And so, hey, I'm not going to read and expound upon every verse, but I am going to hit certain highlights as we begin at Deuteronomy 26:1 and go all the way through to Deuteronomy 29:8. Now, I want to begin with something that I think is very notable. It begins at Deuteronomy 26:1. And with this, we begin as it reads, "And it shall be that when you are come into the land." Now, I'm going to stress a point here. I'm going to stress a point that I've made before because I feel that it is very pertinent as we take a look here at the Torah portion. Notice Moshe, again, to bring highlight to where we're at. Moses now understands, and he knows full well that he is not going to make it into the promised land, and it has been rehearsed before him why he's not going to make it. Now, please keep in mind, Moshe is someone that has such a heart for the people, his people, Israel, that when the time came for them to be atoned for, he was so serious about their atonement that he was willing to give of himself and give up his entire life in Exodus 32. Well, in taking a look at that, we see that he has a heart for the people. And in Deuteronomy, he demonstrates that he has a heart for the people again, as he's given this one last go around to really try to embed within the psyche and the hearts of the people that you must follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, and as well, don't follow it for just right now, but please understand that you are being prepared for your future. Understand that you are being prepared for your future. I will say it again. You are being prepared for your future. It begins at basically chapter 26 and verse number 1. We see that the laws, statutes, and commandments are being given. These laws, statutes, and commandments are going to govern society. They're going to govern the social standing of how little children react with each other, how husbands and wives respond to each other, how individuals interact with law, interact with everything that they do, concerning how they prepare their meals and how they party and so forth and so on. All of these things are prescribed in the law, in the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. But notice, this comes to Israel, it comes to us before we enter into the land. This needs to be noted, quoted, it needs to be highlighted that the Most High prepares us in advance. He prepares us in advance for things that we are going to experience. Listen, I cannot stress this enough. As brothers and sisters, as family, we need to really embed this deep in our minds, deep in our hearts, that the Most High will always prepare you in advance for where you're going. Because everything that exists has a foundation. Everything that exists has a foundation. It begins with the foundation, and if it does not have a foundation, it will not succeed. If you just up and willy-nilly do something, it's not going to succeed. It has to have a foundation. You gotta think it through. You have to have a beginning. And for those of us who will live in the kingdom of the Most High, aka New Israel, we will follow his laws, statutes, and commandments, because everything is built upon the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Everything is built on top of that, but it begins with that. The question is, will you obey the Most High? Will you follow his lead? Will you follow his guidance? Will you follow his instruction? Will you follow that? Because his instruction is geared towards your success. Okay? And he is pleased to bless you. So even as we look at this Shabbat, we are relaxing and enjoying the presence of each other and enjoying the presence of the word of the Most High. And this is what we do in serving him. This is what he desires of us. He says, you know what? If you're going to obey me on Shabbat, guess what I want you to do? Rest and do no work. Okay? Have you a glass of wine? Put your feet up. No stress. Just, enjoy yourself. And in this, you are pleasing me on Shabbat. Put your mind on me. Put your mind on my word. In this, you are pleasing me on Shabbat. And by the way, do this with your brothers and your sisters. And hey, you are pleasing me on Shabbat. Who would not want to walk in this way where the Most High says, hey, if you want to please me, then hey, do what's good for you. That is amazing. That is wonderful. And so with this, we continue. Well, taking a look here, we are being prepared for where we are going. And on this note, you should always have a detailed plan that doesn't simply incorporate where you are, but it incorporates where you are going, which means, again, it implies that you have to have a destination. There's got to be a target. You have to know when you get there. You got to know where there is. So with all of this, we see where the Most High is already preparing us to get there. So let me ask this rhetorical question. Where is your there? Now, there can be smaller little segments like we have here, where we've chopped up Shabbat morning coffee into little segments, but you can have little segments to that. You can establish where your there is for a day, for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, okay, for 3 months, for 6 years, for a year. You can establish where your there is and take baby steps to get there, but every one of you should have a there. If you do not have a plan, if you do not have a plan that demands your attention and that demands that you work on it every day, then you are not living yet. You are not fully alive yet. You're existing, but you are not fully alive yet. You are not fully alive until you join yourself to something and someone that's greater than yourself. So you have to have a plan, and it's got to be bigger than you, and it's got to be something that you work on every day, no matter how big or how small. So notice in chapter 26 and verse number 1, it says that when you are come into the land which the Most High gives you for an inheritance to possess it and to dwell in, basically you're going to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, okay? And he begins to share with them even on how to develop their agricultural ecosystem. It says that, first of all, when you take the fruit of the earth, right, he gives them instructions on how to do that. Now, listen, I have seen and heard reports that when you follow this system of, like, let's say you plant a fruit tree, you plant it and you don't pick from it for the first 3 years, right? You don't pick from it from the first 3 years. You just let it be on its own, right? After that third year, and I heard this and I seen this testimony from a guy who had a lemon tree. They followed the Tanakh, they followed the scriptures, and I'm telling you, in that fourth year, the tree grew lemons twice the size of the lemons that it was growing in the previous years. And so basically they followed the Tanakh, and lo and behold, they have this bumper crop, and it's with that, with all of their produce. And we can do that, and will do that, because we follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So as we take a look here, we're to dedicate the first fruits, and we're to dedicate that which the Most High has given us, okay? And we are to come with the basket in our hand. Now, I want you to notice this. We're going to come and we're going to deliver this to the priests, okay? And you deliver your first fruits unto the priest. Now, I want you to notice this. Now, this brings out a point that I mentioned before, and I'm talking about verse number 5. We get to verse number 5, and this is part of the pronouncement. It says, when you take the basket in your hand, you go before the priest, and you shall say before Yah your Elohim, a Syrian ready to perish was my father, and he went down into Egypt. A Syrian. You see that? A Syrian ready to perish was my father, and he went down into Egypt and sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation, great, mighty, and populous. And notice he says, a Syrian was your father. Now, we have looked at Israel and we've said to ourselves, well, there is a genetic backdrop to being, an Israelite. There's a genetic backdrop, right? And so, yeah, all of us think of nations as just these group of genetically different people where they're different nationalities and different, ethnicities. They look different, But here's the interesting thing. I've said this and I've proven this many a times, even as we looked at Exodus, the 30th chapter, even the 24th chapter as well, where the Most High wanted to make a new nation of Moses. Now, what is of interest is that Moshe, and I know this is Torah portion, so I'm not going to go into another scripture, but I will allude to it, and I will even paraphrase. But the Most High said, I'm going to create another nation of you, Moses. I'm going to make of you a great nation. And wait a minute, but the people, let's say if that had have gone through, the people that the Most High would have gotten rid of, or forgotten, or forsaken, were people of the same genetic stock as Moshe. And that tells you very, very poignantly that nationhood is not about genetics, it's not about DNA, but it's about ideology. Look at Great Britain and look at the United States. Okay? Look at Great Britain and look at the United States. Look at the UK. They're of the same genetic stock as those who wrote the Declaration of Independence and so forth and so on. The Americans, if you will, that came over from there. I mean, yes, they are of the same genetic stock, but notice it is a different nation. With that in mind, please understand that it is not about ethnicity. It's not about how dark you are. It's not about, it's about the ideology. It's about, you walking in the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. I remind you that when Israel left, they left as a mixed multitude of Hamites and Shemites together. Very true. And in fact, in Numbers, the 11th chapter, we see where a woman that was married to an Egyptian man, right? Because again, they were of mixed stock. A woman that was married to an Egyptian man got into trouble, right? He was gathering sticks. And so, long story short, we know that they were a mixed people. Well, in this solidifies my point that biblical nationhood is about ideology and not about genetics, okay? And the individuals in the Bible, in the Tanakh, not the Bible, but the individuals in the Tanakh, those who pleased the Most High were even some of those that were of different nationalities, but they chose to repent and to walk under the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Look at Nineveh, okay? They were a people that were not of the stock of Hebrews, but yet the Most High had mercy upon them, and he allowed them to continue because they repented and they swore to follow the Most High and to keep his laws, statutes, and his commandments. So nationhood is ideological and not genetic. Now, of course, when a group of people that are genetically, basically they have genetic commonalities, they themselves can get together and so bring about somewhat of a ethnic or a genetic distinction by means of majority and minority affiliations. But bottom line, nationhood itself is ideological and not genetic. So as we get back into the scriptures here, we understand that the Most High says, hey, this is what you're going to say, and you're going to present, you're going to basically tell the story. And basically, this is a story of how you left Egypt and how you came to the promised land, and now here you are standing to be blessed as you give unto the Most High and unto the temple that he was supposed to give. And in this, we, of course, in verse 12, come across the subject of tithing. Okay? Verse number 12, notice it talks here, all of these verses above talk about your crops and your first fruits. Look at this in verse number 10. The word first fruits is right there. And it's there. Why? Because we're talking about the produce of your land. The tithing was not the money out of your pocket. This system today that we have of tithing, where the church gets 10% of your earnings, is non-biblical. It is not supposed to be. It is not the way that the Most High intended for it to be. Money was actually used for taxes. The money that you see, in fact, whenever Israel counted, basically, whenever they did a census of all the males, right, for war purposes and for just seeing what the nation is, each male had to pay into the temple a shekel or whatever amount it was, and so they basically used their money to pay that kind of a tax. All right? But money itself was not the tithe, and so Reverend Fatback and Missionary Goodlittle will tell you that you are supposed to pay your tithes, and if you don't pay your tithes, they will definitely try to send you to the hot place. They'll tell you, excuse me, they'll tell you that you're on your way to the hot place. You're on your way to hell because you didn't give Reverend Fatback 10% of your check. And by the way, they don't say 10% of your net. No. 10% of your net? No. 10% of your gross. 10% of even the money that you don't get. Reverend Fatback wants his cut of your paycheck. And if you don't get it, if you don't give it to him, he's going to tell you you're on your way to hell. See, you're on your way to hell. You didn't give me 10% of your paycheck that you work hard for. How dare you? And then have the nerve to quote that scripture in Malachi. I know this is the portion. I'm not going to go to Malachi. But then have the nerve to quote that scripture and say, will a man rob God? Remember that guy that used to be on television? And God, will a man rob God? You can have all that foolishness. You can keep all of that, because that is not what the scripture says. And so Reverend Fatback, who will say that the law is done away with, the law is done away with, oh, the law is done away with, because, hey, JC died on the cross, and so the law is, oh, but you better pay your tithe, right? That one we gonna keep. That that law they're gonna keep, right? Because it's putting money, it's putting Cadillacs in his driveway, it's putting minks on his wife's back, right? And it's not just here, but even in Africa, all over the motherland, there are pastors that wanna get. Listen, I wish I could show you this. See, I'm getting off topic. I'm coming back. But there is a pastor crying, an African pastor crying. Now, this guy, I think actually he was, there was one pastor that was asking for a crazy amount of money, and he was very upset that he didn't get it. That was one, and he reacted, and it was just, I mean, it really was a shame. This guy was begging. It really was a shame. I don't know if they had to pay their rent or something was coming due, but he was really begging. This other guy who was an evangelist, he wept because he had a word, and you're supposed to come give this X amount of dollars, right? Because they had a word. Listen, I have seen these prophelies. I have witnessed them, okay? And I had a problem with them then, even before, I stumbled upon that we now understand to be truth. I had a problem with it then. I told you before, I saw one so-called prophet walk out the house with $100,000 that he raised for himself in one night from poor folk that had to scrape and save up just to do anything. He came through there. Someone else, Juanita Bynum, I saw her take $10,000 out of a congregation in one night. In one night, I saw her take $10,000 out of a congregation. These prophelies that say, "Oh, I hear the Lord said, give me $77.77. Oh, give me $77.70. Oh, and I shall bless you. Untie my bow tie. I shall bless you if you give me." Lies, all lies. The tithing system and the financial system of the kingdom, it does not require that you pay tithes in money off of your gross that you've worked hard for, okay? And then you got to fight with the government to get some kind of a refund from the money that you did pay in taxes, right? And so they don't care. They're like, no, you're supposed to pay tithes off of your gross amount, right? I'll never forget, I was in school, and because my father had died when I was very early in age, very young in age, I was getting Social Security. And the church I was going to pulled me into the office. And I was going to college back then, right? But they pulled me into the office. You getting a Social Security check, and you ain't paying your tithes. You need to pay your tithes. You getting a Social Security. Look, Reverend Fatback is doing fine. He don't need my $5. He is doing A-okay. Now, the closest thing that the modern day Christian church has to the correct way of tithing is what they call pounds. You all know about pounds? Pounds night. That's when you bring pounds of food from your cabinet, whether it be a can of green beans or a can of corn. I mean, whatever it is, right? You're supposed to bring pounds, and that's supposed to feed Reverend Fatback and little Egbert and everybody else. But that is the closest that they come to the biblical system. Here we see where the biblical system of the tithe was actually where you gave from the produce of your land, from the firstlings of your flocks and your herds to the first fruits of the land. Okay? And with that, the man of God and the priests were able. They were able to be fended for, to be fed, so that they did not have to worry about going out, working, and then trying to make money, okay? Because they were dedicated to you and to the service of the Most High. So this then is what the Most High says, that when you, verse number 12, when you have made an end of the tithing, all the tithes of thine increase from your produce and from your cattle, the third year, which is the year of tithing, again, because you leave the fruit on the tree and you leave the fruit on the plants for 3 years, right? Then you begin to get bumper crops thereafter. And as given unto the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which is basically, it's not welfare, but it's their system of helping the poor, where when gleaners go out to take in the crops, they purposely leave the corners and do not get everything. They get the mother load, but they leave some for those that are indigent, those that are incapable, those who are fatherless and strangers and widows, so that they might come and they might pick for themselves, not lay up, scratch their bellies, and go to the mailbox and get a check or an automatic deposit, but they go out and they pick for themselves and they glean for themselves, right? You see a good picture of that in the book of Ruth, which is what she was doing before she uncovered Boaz's feet. So we see here, as we continue looking at the scriptures, that this is the system of tithing that's laid out in Deuteronomy 26, okay? And so from verses 2 all the way down to verse number 12. And notice here in the declaration, in verse number 13, then thou shalt say before Yah Eloheka, the Lord your God, I have brought away the holy things, or the hallowed things, out of my house. Now, I want you to pay attention to this, because this is interesting. And also have given them unto the Levite and unto the stranger, to the fatherless and to the widow, according to all thy commandments which thou hast commanded me. Notice what else it reads. I have not transgressed thy commandments, neither have I forgotten them. Now, verse number 14, I got to point something out here, okay? Because this interrupts the ancient African traditions that we have come to know. Notice what it reads in verse number 14. I have not eaten thereof in my mourning, neither have I taken away aught thereof for any unclean use, nor given aught thereof for the dead. This is a direct indirect relationship to the African practice of leaving a plate out of food, whether it be at the dinner table or whether it be at your ancestral shrine that you may have in your home, for those of you that practice that and honor your ancestors but don't worship them. This interrupts the African practice of leaving food for the dead. Okay? Now, it does not say anything about not pouring libation, right, as we do in African culture, but it does interrupt the thought that we must leave out food for the dead, or lay the food aside for the dead before we eat it. In other words, laying food aside for our ancestors. Here, biblically it is said to be forbidden, and we are not to lay food aside for our ancestors. Deuteronomy 26 and verse number 14. Okay, and notice what else it reads. It says, but I have hearkened to the voice of Yah, my Elohim, and have done according to all that you have commanded me. This is your dedication during the tithe. Okay, and in the church house, they don't say anything about this. You know, Reverend Fatback's lackey will get up there and he'll pray the blessing over the offering, right? But this is the pronouncement that you, as the presenter, are supposed to say and speak and give unto the Most High. So notice what else it says, verse number 15. Look down from your holy habitation from heaven and bless your people and the land which you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land that flows with milk and with honey. A land that flows with milk and with honey. Okay? So then these are the laws and statutes and commandments that even govern how you pay your tithes and how you treat your crops and the things that you are supposed to do. And here again is an illusion, okay, of the Most High preparing us in advance. Look at 27:2. And it shall be on that day when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land which Yah Eloheka, the Lord your God, gives you, that you shall set up great stones and plaster them with plaster, and you shall write upon them all the words of this law when thou art passed over, that thou mayest go in unto the land which Yah Eloheka gives you, a land that flows with milk and honey, as Yah has basically said that he would do to your fathers. So in this, what principle do we derive from this? You will find out as you take a look at the Tanakh that the Most High is definitely sentimental. He is definitely sentimental. And he wants a memorial for the highlights in your life. He wants a memorial for the highlights in your life. And when I look upon this, and I see what the Most High said, you know what, when you cross over this Jordan, I want you to create pillars, okay? I want you to create pillars. I want you to write the law on it. I want this to be for a memorial. And he did this concerning many things. When they went over one time, he said, hey, let every priest carry a stone in his hand, and they're going to build a mound, and they're going to build this, because the Most High is sentimental. And so I cringe when there's certain Hebrews that say, it's a sin for you to, sin for you to celebrate your birthday. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? All because Job said, I cursed the day that I was born because he was suffering? Are you kidding me? This is just like the Ashkenazim, who I don't agree with their point, who say, well, I got to have 2 stoves and 2 refrigerators because I can't mix, the dairy with the meat. I count it as that erroneous when it comes to the scriptures. The Most High wants you to celebrate the highlights of your life, okay? And over here, we celebrate our birthdays and we give praise to the Most High for another year. Are you kidding me? Yes, and we will rejoice together. We will praise him together for another life, for another year of life, and we will joy in it, okay? And we're going to have fun while we're doing it, right? And not going to think we're sinning while we're doing it. We're going to have fun while we're doing it, right? So, hey, someone very important in my life is about to have a birthday, and we are going to party down and have a wonderful time because we celebrate what the Most High has done. You better believe I'm going to celebrate her. So as we take a look here at the scripture, we talk here and we look here, but the Most High definitely is sentimental and he wants things to be remembered. So in this, how do we practically demonstrate this? Okay. Now, before we're talking about your crops and tithing, okay, that's pretty practical and pretty explicit, right? But in this, how do we exemplify and walk in this? Well, you can do it by establishing memorials. Make sure that you don't miss the highlights of your life and your days. I heard someone say this, okay, even though this person was a Christian bishop, I have to honor truth where I hear it. And he said that I heard this from his mouth, he said we miss the most significant days of our life while they're happening. We didn't realize that they were good old days until we lived longer and realized, man, those were the good old days. So many times what I will do, at the at the risk of sounding like Captain Obvious, I will just come out and I will say something, and it's like, well, okay, that's known, but I will say something to celebrate it because we miss the most significant days of our lives while they're happening, okay? We don't realize these are the good old days until they're gone. So be happy, be joyful, be thankful, and celebrate every moment that you have. Celebrate your time, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? So as we go back into the scripture here, the Most High is sentimental, and he continues to prepare them for crossing over the Jordan, okay? And for not only crossing over the Jordan, but entering into the promised land. Now, at the end of 27, well, I shouldn't say the end, down further in chapter 27 of Deuteronomy, we find something that is very peculiar. Now, this is connected, this passage that we're about to hit, it is connected to, in its principle, it is connected to Isaiah 45:7, where you find where the Most High said, for those of you that don't know it, I'll just simply quote / paraphrase, where the Most High says, you know what, I create evil. Yeah. I create darkness, I create light. I create evil, and I create good. He said, I'm doing all this. I'm doing all this. And there is no figure of Satan in the Tanakh. What Christianity and what dualism and Zoroastrianism has deemed to be this great wicked evildoer fighting, this great God that is good. You've got light fighting darkness. Yeah, all of that, no, that is not in the Tanakh, okay? And it would come later. You would see it later as we get into the book of Daniel and as we get into even certain aspects of the book of Enoch. You find this duality playing out, okay, far more potently and of a greater magnitude than you would if you were to read the Tanakh. It's just not there in the Tanakh, okay? Yeah, you can find brothers fighting each other. You can find, you can definitely find people fighting each other. But to have this cosmic battle between the ruler of the cosmos that is holy and another ruler of the cosmos that is wicked, no, you don't find that anywhere. But here we see the balance where the Most High says, I'm doing all that. And by the way, here is an apparatus whereby the Most High does some of those things. It's found in verses 11 through 13. Okay? You look at it, and what does it read? And Moshe charged the people the same day, saying, these shall stand upon Mount Gerizim to bless the people. Right? To bless the people. They're going to stand upon Mount Gerizim to bless the people when they come over to the Jordan. It's going to be Simeon and Levi and Judah and Issachar and Joseph and Benjamin. These tribes, these 6 tribes are going to, they're going to be the ones to bless. That's their job, to bless, right? Remember what I always say. Someone's got to bring in the groceries and someone's got to take out the garbage, okay? The Most High has designated that these are going to bring in the groceries, but guess what? Those other ones, they're going to take out the garbage. And so here it is. It's in verse number 12, we see that upon Mount Gerizim, the blessing was to be spoken forth upon the people by these tribes. Now, notice what it reads in verse number 13. And these shall stand upon Mount Eval, okay, to curse Reuben and Gad and Asher, or Asher I should say, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. These are going to be the ones to curse. Okay? Someone's got to bring in the groceries and someone has to take out the garbage. Okay? Whether you look at this from the standpoint of the B'nai Elohim, there are members of the B'nai Elohim and of the angelic hosts that are the ones who, quote unquote, bring in the groceries, and there are others that take out the garbage. Okay? Now, those who take out the garbage, they're going to smell like garbage, right? They're not going to be as gracious and beautiful and wonderful as those who, are bringing in the groceries. Those who are taking out the garbage, they are used to the garbage, and they're going to smell like garbage, right? You're going to want to wash yourself and not touch them, because why? They may be dirty, they may be filthy, but yet they're doing their job in taking out the garbage. Those those then are the angelic hosts and beings that in Christianity has been termed as demons, or in the Tanakh they are Shadim. But there has to be, again, there has to be someone to bring in the groceries, and there has to be someone to take out the garbage. Here the Most High says, you know what, out of the tribes, all the tribes, I'm designating these to do the cursing, and I'm designating these to do the blessing. So then the Levites are said to direct them, okay, curse shall be the man that does this, that does that, that does this. And so now these are the curses. Before we get to Deuteronomy 28, these are the curses, okay? And guess what? Chapter 28, these are the blessings, okay? These are the blessings. And these are the cursings and the blessings that were to be pronounced upon the people, right? Mount Gerizim for the blessings and Mount Ebal for the cursing. We get to chapter 28, right? And we see here where yes, 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 it continues this narrative where the Most High is saying, blessed you're going to be in the city, blessed are you in the field, blessed. And please note, there were tribes that the Most High designated to pronounce these blessings. Now, how do we practically embrace this and live this out of our lives? There should be, even in our homes, there should be a blessing. Blessed are you that, when you go into the city. But listen, every opportunity, every morning, okay, my future queen, I bless her. I tell her, have a wonderful day. May the Most High be, I pronounce blessings over her. And guess what? She does the same to me. She pronounces the blessings of the Most High upon me. Okay? And it is just a beautiful thing. But in every home, you should be blessing each other and speaking kind words of blessing over each other. Okay? You should be doing that. That should be something that you normally and daily do. And you should also agree upon curses. Okay? This is not right, that is, this should not be done, that should not be done, and the Most High will not allow that to, and you should be in agreement on those things, right? So this is how we practically demonstrate this today while we are in Israel, but yet estranged from our tribes. We can still practice this, and we can still pronounce the blessings of the Most High upon each other. So as we continue here, we continue with these blessings up until, as you know, up until we get to verse number 15. But it shall come to pass, if you will not hearken unto the voice of Yah, your Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, again, please keep in mind that these are things that the people and the tribes were to agree with and pronounce over each other. You're going to be cursed if you do this. You're going to be cursed if you do that. So they were in agreement with the word of the Most High and with the Tanakh. They were in agreement with it, right? And so that when it comes to pass, they would know full well what's happening to them, right? And we understand the cursings that are here in Deuteronomy. We could go through it, but again, you have read it, and I don't have to go through every one of these, right? But we understand that even our existence, there are so many parallels in our present existence that does, basically, it harmonizes and it agrees with what is written in Deuteronomy 28, verses 16 through 68. We cannot help but to know that that is the truth, okay? It's just a reality of our existence. As we continue, we see that there are many things written here, many things that we can point a finger at, even in some of our own homes, some of our own relatives, some of the people that we know of. We can point to these things being definitely true. And I'm not going to go through each and every one of them because there are so many of these curses. There's so many of these things that, hey, we just simply need you to understand that we were to agree with these curses because this is a covenant, this is a contract, and so we would agree with it and thereby make sure that we ourselves were walking according to the contract, according to the covenant, and keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. We get to chapter 29 and verse 1, and it reads that these are the words of the covenant which Yah commanded Moshe, to make with the children of Israel. Okay? In the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. So, this is a furthering and an expounding of the agreement and the covenant, and not a covenant that takes the place of. Okay? Not the covenant that takes the place of. It's kind of like this. Let me give you an understanding. Okay? It's kind of like this. A parent buys a car, right? Parent goes to the dealer, and they work out this deal, this contract, a covenant, where the parent is to pay X amount of dollars, right? Well, time passes, right? And the parent is about to get another car, but the original car that they bought is not yet paid for. So then what happens? Well, the parent that purchased the original car goes to their child that wants it, their young adult that wants it, right? And says, hey, you are going to keep up these payments. If you keep up the payments, then you can have the car. You're going to have to keep up the payments, and you're going to have to also keep up the insurance. And by the way, you got to get your oil changed every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, and so forth and so on. And so they agree. Now, this second covenant did not take the place of the first covenant. It's just in addition to, and it's a greater explanation of, or it's a furthering of that had already begun. So this covenant is a continuation of what happened at Horeb. So as we take a look here at chapter 29 and verse 1, say that, you know what, this is what the Most High commanded Moshe to speak to the children of Israel. And verse 2 says, and Moshe called unto all Israel and said unto them, you have seen all that Yah did before your eyes in the land of Mitzrayim unto Pharaoh, and unto all his servants, and unto all his land, the great temptations which your eyes have seen, the signs of those great miracles. Yet Yah hath not given you a heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear, unto this day. And I have led you forth these 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes have not waxed old upon you. Okay? Said your clothes didn't wax old upon you, and your shoes didn't even wax old upon your feet. You haven't eaten bread, neither have you drunk wine or strong drink, that you may know that I am Yah Eloheka, the Lord your Elohim, your God. And when you come into this place, I told you that the Most High always prepares you, right? And when you come into this place, Sihon, the king of Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out against us unto battle, and we smote them. Tell them the history. And we took their land and gave it for an inheritance unto the Reubenites, to the Gadites, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh. I misspoke. This was not preparing them. They were recounting their history, right? And so this is the end of the Torah portion. This has been the Torah portion for this week. And so now we're going to ask questions. Questions about the Torah portion for this week. We'll be right back, and we'll get questions. Okay, so at this particular time, I want you to understand that yes, we're at that place. We're at that place where we, of course, can field questions, get questions related to the Torah portion. Okay, now is the time for you to ask your questions. Now is the time for you to ask. I'm going to tiptoe into the chat room, and please place your questions with my name on it. Place your questions, and I will respond to your questions or your comments. And yes, you can also call in. The call-in line is now open. You can call in. Yakahi, peace and blessings to you. Glad that you are here. Who else crept in here while I was busy? Who else snuck in here? Let's see. Oh, Soprano Jesse is here. All right. Peace and blessings to you, Soprano Jesse. I need to have a conversation with you. By the way, I'm going to be talking about someone in the Scholars Corner. I'm going to be talking about someone that I think you may, you may know them. We'll see. Who else is here? Yeah, Repentant and Saved is here. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. Peace and blessings to you. Yeah, Yeshua, your only Cooper. Peace and blessings to you. Yeah, I didn't see y'all sneak in. Y'all snuck in here. Nice. Timothy O'Haver is in the house. Timothy O'Haver. Glad to see you, my brother. Glad to see you, Timothy. All right, who else? Yeah, you're right, Soprano Jesse. False prophets everywhere. Jermaine Deacle, peace and blessings to you, my brother. Glad that you are here. Let's see. Who else? I want to make sure that I get everyone. James Hardy's in the house. Peace and blessings to you, James. I did not hear you come in. I didn't hear the door slam or anything. Who else? Okay, I believe I got everyone. Moving Different. Hey, peace and blessings to you, my brother. I will definitely be reaching out to you this week. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Yeah, you done snuck up in here as well. Yeah, my brother. Yeah. So, hey, questions that anyone may have, let me go back and see if anyone has raised a question. If not, then guess what? I'm going to move on. Let me do this. Let me pause for station ID, and then we will be right back. And hey, depending upon if there's a question or not, yeah, we may move on to the next segment. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video.
All right, we are back, and please, by all means, let's follow the lead of the head moderator who says, hey, go ahead and thumb up this here live, and thumb up the video. Yeah, Yaki, he says, Shabbat Shalom, Moray, had a surprise visit today. All praises to the Most High. Yes, all praises to the Most High. Jermaine Deacle, my brother says, this isn't a question, but it's a basic comment. Experiencing and recognizing the curses have given me confidence and hope to receive the blessings. And you know what? I can appreciate that. It is, my teacher said, hey, all you have to do is look in the mirror. Look at your experience. Look at how what is written in Deuteronomy 28 16 through 68. Look at how, even in your own life and with people that you know in your own family, look at how this has been demonstrated time and time again. And it's not to say that no other people group have ever been in slavery, because they were. The workers of evil and wickedness have done, they've been who they are to everyone, including themselves. Right? They've even enslaved some of their own brothers and sisters in order to, bring about their wicked plans. Right? But when it came to us, we were labeled as such. And so, not to get into that, because we are dealing with the Torah portion and wanting to keep it there. It's why, let me see if I can show you a copy here. Because of Deuteronomy 28, verses 16 through 68, it's why I wrote African Hebrews in America. It's an ontological look at Deuteronomy 28, verses 16 through 68 being true and real and applicable to us as a people. So it's a look at that and a discussion of that, and it is, while it is not very, I don't know where it would rank on the charts of scholarship. I don't think it's very scholarly, but it is the most scholarly work that I've done so far to date. But hey, and we're going to do more. But hey, I do believe, my brother, that we definitely, it's like the evidence is there that we are the people that's being discussed in Deuteronomy 28, verses 16 through 68. Well, it looks like there are no more questions or comments, so we're going to go to the next section. We're going to go to the next segment, if you will. So we'll be right back with the next segment. All right, and so the next segment that we have that I'm going to go to right now is I'm going to go to, and we're not going to do all the segments today, but I do want to do this segment, which is the Scholar's Corner. Oh, thank you, Josh and Penny. Thank you, Josh and Penny, for saying that my book is great. Thank you very much. I'm going to, for the Scholar's Corner today, this is someone, I think that Jesse may know this individual that we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about someone who is a scholar that is on TikTok that as an individual and as a scholar, I like him. I do. I got to admit. And this individual, I'm going to show him to you in just a second. I know that we were doing going through the debate, okay? But they just do more of the same, that debate between Deacon and Hassan. Yes, we could get into that more. But, hey, I wanted to take a break from that and maybe even just tuck that away for right now and begin to talk about scholarship on another level. Talk about scholarship a little differently, if you will. And so for the Scholar's Corner, I want to introduce you to a gentleman by the name of none other than Dr. Dan McClellan. I want to share some things with you about him. In fact, I want you to hear, let's listen together as Dr. Dan McClellan talks to us, and it's a question about, well, why do I hate the Bible? He doesn't hate the Bible. It's just that he has been accused at hating the Bible simply because he brings things out that people are not ready for. Now, on that note, one of the things that I do like about Dan is that his show is, he has a podcast, Data Over Dogma. Data Over Dogma. And I've looked at a lot of his videos, and yes, it opens up your eyes to not just nuances of the scriptures, but basically, really, where there's a lot of dogma that's been put in places, in the place of truth. Okay. There is a question here coming to me from Yakihi, which I need to address real quick before we move forward with the Scholars Corner. And I'm sorry, someone's calling me, and they don't realize that I am on live. So, hey, sorry about that. And in fact, I'm going to have to get to your question, Yakihi, after this segment, okay? I'm going to have to get to this afterwards, okay? So now, let me continue. Sorry about that. Let me say this about Dr. Dan McClellan. I like Dan McClellan because he is honest. I believe that when he speaks, that he is actually being truthful and honest to his viewpoint, to his research. And not only that, but I really feel as if his research is very thorough. I feel like as a scholar, I feel like his research is very thorough. However, I think that all of us have certain biases that kind of flavor what we're going to say and kind of flavor the stance and the lean that we would be on. Now, we have a bias here. Yeah, that's my ringtone, Josh. That's my ringtone. And yeah. I think later what I'll do is later I'll let y'all hear my ringtone, like, for real. But as I continue with Josh, he is being accused of hating the Bible. And he doesn't hate the Bible. He's just showing us some truths, some history, sources, and some other things about the quote-unquote Bible. And I say Bible purposefully because it is the Tanakh and the Christian New Testament. He shows us things about the Bible. And I like Dan because he is honest. I think he's thorough. I think that he does his research very, very well. And yeah, I agree with you, Soprano Jesse. I like how transparent and how honest he is, right? And thank you for that. But Soprano Jesse says, love how transparent and honest you are about biases. Well, thank you very much. But I got to admit, even as Hebrews, we do have biases. We really, really do. One of the things that I do like about Dan is that Dan McClellan, he does challenge you when it comes to the vocality of the Tanakh and even the whole Bible itself. I'm talking about whether it's univocal or whether it's polyvocal, which, to be honest with you, it is polyvocal. And he challenges you because we have been taught to look at the Tanakh and to look at everything as one long thread. It all connects together. But he points out certain truths and certain nuances about the Tanakh that, yeah, you know, if you're a lover of truth rather than dogma, then you will be challenged. You will be challenged to continue and challenged to hold those biases while yet trying to embrace the truth at the same time. So we're going to listen to Dan here for just a second. He has been accused of hating the Bible. Okay? He's been accused of hating the Bible, and he's going to talk to us, and he's going to let us know that he doesn't.
Why do I hate the Bible so much? Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. And in light of the 6th episode of X-Men 97, the fit for this video is the goddess Aurora, aka Storm. And every single day on my channel there will be people trying to dismiss my work on the grounds that I hate the Bible and that I'm just attacking the Bible.
I know.
And the reality is that I love the Bible. I think the Bible is the single most interesting and complex and influential text that has ever existed. I have dedicated my life to studying the Bible and to understanding it better on its own terms. And therein lies the problem. Because the kinds of people who dismiss my work and accuse me of hating the Bible and attacking the Bible are the kinds of people who struggle to distinguish their dogmas about the Bible from the Bible itself. They will insist up and down that it doesn't matter what anyone thinks, wants, needs, or believes. It only matters what the Bible says. But then when they get exposed to what the biblical authors were actually trying to communicate. It doesn't compute. And they immediately go into defensive mode, where they have to use this rhetorical prophylaxis of flippantly dismissing critical scholarship on the grounds that those people hate the Bible and those people are attacking the Bible. Because if the whole project is built on a foundation of corrupt motivations, then it can all be summarily dismissed without engagement, and then they don't have to expose their dogmas to the data. They can protect them from the data. So the folks on my channel who accuse me of hating the Bible and attacking the Bible have become defensive because I'm critiquing dogmas that are very important to them, and they cannot distinguish them from the Bible itself, and so have to try to dismiss my work on the grounds that I must hate the Bible and I must just be attacking the Bible. Why do I hate the Bible so?
So in that, of course, he's a scholar, right? So bit of an egghead, bit of an intellectual, throwing words around that maybe the average person may have to look up in a dictionary. But yet and still, I mean, he does bring good points. And yeah, Soprano Jesse, I'm also familiar with Dr. Kip Davis. Man, I like the whole look of Dr. Kip Davis, where, he looks cool, right? But you're right, they are very knowledgeable, and I've seen them collab together. I like him. I like his studies. He focuses more on. It's not that he's estranged from the Christian New Testament. It's just that I feel like he is more of an authority on, the Assyrians and Mesopotamian histories and mythologies and so forth and so on. And a lot of the back history of the Tanakh and cultural memories of the peoples and cultures of the Tanakh. So yeah, I like Kip. I like Kip Davis too. One of the things I'm going to say about Dan, even though I do like Dan is data driven. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want you to be balanced, my brothers and my sisters, my Hebrews. I want you to be balanced when it comes to scholarship. And when I say balanced, I'm talking about there being a balance between an argument that is purely data driven, like Dan's is, okay? And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Give me just a second. Let me give you an example, okay? For years, there was no data that could corroborate the existence of the house of Dawid Hamelech, the house of David, okay? David of killing Goliath lore, David of Jonathan friendship and covenant. There was, scholars said for years, for decades, that this was just a literary work of fiction designed to relay certain principles, but there was no David and there was no Solomon and there was no, because, they would say that because there was no data to substantiate that as a proof, as a truth, as a reality, until they find this particular little goody, which gives reference, okay, the Tel Dan still, it gives reference to the existence of the house of David. So we can say then that now there's evidence and there's proof, where before there was no evidence. And with scholars like my buddy Dan, what Dan would say is, we have no data to support the existence of a David as king of Israel or otherwise. Now, once they find something like this, if you're data driven, then they will be able to say, hey, yeah, he existed. And so with that point, while I do like Dan, while he's honest, and while I feel like he's transparent, at the same time, I feel as if it's the adage, when you're data driven, you're bound to only what can be found. Okay? And you are tossed by what is lost. If there is no data, then you are completely lost, because you're data driven, and data alone is your foundation. Okay, anything other than that, it is a possibility. It has a higher or lesser degree of probability, and so it becomes something that must remain in the peripheral and not one's focus, because again, data is the focus of a data-driven scholar. And you just have to be balanced, and you have to be careful. So what then is the balance, and what, how do you be careful with that? Well, balance and being careful in this sense would, again, talking about the practicalities and how do we actually live this out, you deal with it by, yes, by all means looking at the data, right? But understanding as well that you have to give credence to the fact that this was cultural memory for a group of people that lasted a millennia or more. And so you have to give some sort of social and spiritual credence to the fact that even though there is no data to support some of this, you yet have the cultural memory and the practice that people have been practicing for years and years and centuries and even millennia. You have to give that some credence as well. That has to be a data point within itself that would substantiate something's reality or something's sense of being true and real to the lives of people that lived in this ancient time. You can't just look at something and say, oh, I don't have an artifact, or oh, I don't have any ancient scrolls to validate this. Oh, it must not be true. No, I think you have to go further than that. And so for this Scholar's Corner, while I do give kudos to Dan McClellan, Dr. Dan McClellan, I yet want to caution you on the balance of being, now I don't know his stance. I don't know if he's an atheist or a Christian or what. He is just a solid scholar that is very honest and will tell the truth. Okay, he doesn't mind sacrificing. He doesn't mind sacrificing a few sacred cows for the barbecue. So I would say as well, Josh says, I'm data driven. Just realize this, I'm data driven. And I think we all need to be, okay? But again, I'm asking that we balance it out with understanding that, yes, there is cultural memory, years and years, even millennia, of a history of a people who worshipped an Elohim that they could not see. And they practiced this by following his laws, statutes, and commandments, by following his word that gives life. And that cannot be dismissed because there may not be data to substantiate some of the particulars. So with this, I'm simply asking you to be balanced and understand that, yes, Dr. Dan McClellan is a good scholar, but he will definitely rattle your cage on some issues. So this has been the Scholar's Corner. And now we will open it up for any questions concerning anything that I have said. If you question something Dan said, you're going to have to ask him, right? You're going to have to ask him. For me, I'm just simply saying, hey, this has been Scholar's Corner, and now we're going to entertain questions surrounding what we've stated and what we've gone through about the Scholar's Corner. Now it's time for questions. All right, so now is the time for you to ask your questions concerning the Scholar's Corner. Okay? I'll give you a minute to get your questions, and if there are no questions, then we'll move on to the next segment. All right, here we are. We are back. We are back. We are back. So let's go ahead and since there are no questions about the Scholars Corner, we're going to, let's go to the next segment. And I got to do some music and I got to do an intro for this. But this next segment is entitled, How Hebrew Are You? How Hebrew Are You? How Hebrew Are You? We're going to pause for station ID and we'll be right back with the segment, How Hebrew Are You? There are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Beit University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrator and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate program. You can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Beit University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses. All right, so we're back now. This is the segment, How Hebrew Are You? How Hebrew are you? Here is a question. Here is a question. Here it is. How Hebrew are you? Which version of tzitzit or fringes is backed by the Tanakh and archaeology? Let's hear what you think. Let's see. Let's see. Is it number one or is it number two? Let's see. Let's see. Let's go here and let's see who's weighing in. Who's weighing? Okay, I see a one. I see another one. I see another one. Someone else said one. I see nothing but ones. Joshua and Penny says two. Let's take a look here. Okay. Repentant and Save says, I was doing two. Tammy Dave, peace and blessings to you. Shabbat shalom to you. One, I see more ones. Okay. Well, let's look at it. Now, remember what the question is. The question is, which version of tzitzit or fringes is backed by the Tanakh and archaeology? Kanai Israel says two. Jermaine Deagle says, but I do too. My brother Bergen Paris says, I do three. Well, that's funny. Well, then, what is the answer? What is the answer? What is the answer? Okay. The answer is... The answer is number one. The answer is number one. Numbers 15 and 39, as well as Deuteronomy 22 and verse 12. Okay? 22 and verse 12. So you can see here that these are the actual tzitzit. Okay, the actual tzitzit right there. Okay, they're encircled. They are on the four corners of their garment. It's noted by the tzitzit being right by their feet, right by their ankles. Okay, I did do a lesson on this, right? What about fringes? And I went through it, okay, and talked about that. Here's the next one for you. Are you ready for the next one? Here it comes. Here it is. How Hebrew are you? Samson and Delilah. Samson and Delilah. Pick the right answer. Pick the right answer for Samson and Delilah. 1, she cut his locks off while he slept. Number 2, Samson never had his locks cut by Delilah. Okay? Samson and Delilah are personifications of day and night. Which one or two of these things are true? I wish I had some Jeopardy music. All right, Jermaine Deacle weighs in. Kanaya Israel weighs in. Yeshua Yaonli Cooper weighs in. Joshua and Penny weigh in with the 2. It's All Good weighs in with the 1. Jacqueline E. Bugs weighs in with the 1. Who else? Who else is going to step up to the mic? Who else? Yakahi says 2. Who else? Tammy Dave says 1. Who else is going to weigh in? Who else is going to weigh in? Anyone else? All right, looks like no one else is going to weigh in. Let's see who was right. Okay, Repentant and Saved also weighed in with a 1. Yakahi says, I do 2 and 3. All right. Let's take a look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll coming up right now. Bam! The answer is number 2. Samson never had his locks cut by Delilah. Judges 16 and 19. And she, Delilah, made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, a barber, and said, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. Now, the deep thing about that, when I put that together, the deep thing about that, man, I was thinking about Delilah, and I said, what a dirty, low-down tippy-tie. I don't know if some of you saw that movie, but anyway, that's a reference to a movie. A dirty, low-down tippy-tie. She was trying to find out his secret, used the fact that he loved her in order to get that secret from him, then had some other dude come in, give my boy a haircut, and then she was the one that started afflicting him, right? Oh, that's a dirty thing to do. Real dirty. So, let's just pop back for a little bit. Let's do this last quick little, let's do the last, how Hebrew are you? Let's do the last one. And let's take a look here. And you tell me, which one of these is the Hebrew letter Beit? Which one of these is the Hebrew letter Beit? Which one? Tell me which one. Okay. I'm waiting for y'all to respond. Which one is bait? Which one? Okay, I'm gonna wait for some more answers. Okay, gonna wait for a couple more answers. And I'm gonna wait. Let's see. Okay, Jermaine Deacle is questioning 2. Moving Different says 2. Jacqueline Bug says 2. Josh and Penny say 3. Someone is honest. They say, you know what? I totally forgot, man. I completely forgot. So let's take a look here. Oh, we've got Yeshua, your only Cooper, weighs in with the 2. Repentant Save with the 2. Soprano Jesse with the 2. Chanaya Israel with the 2.
It's 2 o'clock.
Also, it's all good, says 3. And for some reason, Yakahi is laughing. I want to be in on the joke too. Chanaya Israel comes in with the 3. Oh no, she says 3 is noon. So here we go, my peepas. Here we go, here's the answer, drum roll, bam. The Hebrew letter bait was number 2. For all of you that said 2, you were correct. That is number 2. I like doing that. That is fun. How Hebrew are you? That was fun. Well, I've got just one more thing that I want to kind of talk about here, and that is maybe, I don't know, maybe I should question this and ask if this is a conspiracy or not. Let me just try to do one thing here real quick. I'm going to pause for station ID, and then we will be right back with our last little part of a segment. Okay? We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Melky Uriel, and I'm excited to offer you a brand new course at Navi Beit Academy. One of the first courses that we're developing at Navi Beit Academy, and we're welcoming you. It's called the Hebrew Memorization Course, and perhaps you've been reading some Hebrew reference materials, and you note that the paragraphs are numbered by the Hebrew alphabet, as well as the verses. And you're wondering, well, how do I know which is which? If I want to go to a particular paragraph, how do I do that? You may also be wondering, well, how do I memorize the 10 Commandments? I want to be able to memorize the 10 Commandments and know them frontwards and back and be able to recall them in order and to know which commandment is which. As well as the Hebrew alphabet. I want to know the Hebrew alphabet and their numerical values from 1 to 400. I'm here to tell you that you can do that now. Now there is a course here at Navi Beit Academy where you will memorize the Hebrew alphabet from 1 to 22 and their numerical values from 1 to 400, as well as the 10 Commandments. All anyone will be able to have to do is to just either speak the number or the Hebrew alphabet, and you will be able to recall it. It's as simple as thinking of a number like 19, and 19 in the Hebrew alphabet is Qaf, which its numerical value is 100, and its paleographic Hebrew symbol is that of the horizon. Let's say 3, all right? Just a random number. 3 in the Hebrew alphabet is Gimel, and its paleographic Hebrew symbol is that of the foot, and also its number is 3. But guess what? Since it's 1 through 10, number 3 would represent the 3rd commandment of the 10 Commandments, which is, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Well, how am I able to do that? I'm able to do that because I've been using this system for some time now, and I'm willing to offer to you through this course at Navi Beit Academy. That's right. You can take your time. If it takes you a week, if it takes you a month, if it takes you 2 years, it's up to you to just study at your own pace. The only thing we ask you to do is just to dig in with us. And I'll even let you in on a secret. You can start the course for free. So thank you very much, and we can't wait to see you on the other side.
All right, all right, all right. I am back. I am back. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually try to, I don't know, I want to talk with you about something. And look, here's my question. Here's my question. In fact, maybe I should do like another, excuse me for looking away, because I have to do a little bit of something here real quick, real quick. I think I'm gonna start a new segment just right here on the spot because of something that just happened, something that I just witnessed when I was preparing for Shabbat morning coffee this morning. So, what is it that I'm talking about? Well, I want to ask you if something is a conspiracy. I'm wondering if this is a conspiracy, and I'm wondering if you can help me. All right, so let's talk about it real quick. Let's talk about it. What am I asking is a conspiracy? I mean, what am I concerned about? Well, okay, there's lots of conspiracy theories that we could actually entertain. You're right, there's lots of things that we could entertain. But in preparing for this, I mean, I just, maybe my spidey senses are going off for no reason. But here's the thing. I'm going to show you all this. Listen, if I can, I'm going to show you the thread that I had going on with AI. So this would be an AI conspiracy. Oh, hold on. I pulled myself down wrong. Hold on. Oh, do I need to go to another commercial to straighten out my... Okay. No, we're good. All right. So here is... Let me clue you in on what I was trying to do with AI. Okay? And let me tell you why I'm asking, or I'm wondering if this is a conspiracy. Peace and blessings to my brother Ben Naphtali. Okay? But now let me clue you in on this, okay? Now listen. You tell me if I'm tripping. You tell me if this is a conspiracy. Let me tell me if this is conspiracy worthy. Okay? Is this worthy of being called a conspiracy? Now, let me tell you what I was trying to do here. Let me back up. Okay. Let me back up. So what I did was, let me back up, okay? You recognize this because this is the picture of Samson and Delilah that I used, right? So I was actually going to do something about Cain and Abel, and I asked it to create an Afrocentric image of Cain and Abel. But if you notice, now their foreheads are touching. It looks almost like they're about to go into a kiss. It looks more romantic than anything to me, right? And so I'm like, no, that's not what I want. Now notice what I said. I said, try again. You see this? I said, try again, right? So what did AI generate for me? And notice what it says here. I generated an image with the prompt Afrocentric image of Cain and Abel. Okay, so I don't know which one is supposed to be Cain and which one is supposed to be Abel. But somebody had a sex change here. And again, there's this close kind of intimate kind of setting. Okay, so wait for it, wait for it. So I'm like, you know, I asked AI, I said, are you insane? I'm like, are you nuts? So then I asked for just a blanketed image of Cain and Abel without putting in any Afrocentric emphasis, and this is what it gave me. Okay? Like two brothers talking at a rock. They're not close together. They don't look like they're about to kiss. Right? So then I said, well, okay, now that you've got the right idea, I said, now create an Afrocentric version, which is far more correct than the one you have. And it gives me this. Okay? Now, I don't like it because it's a cartoon, and I began by asking for lifelike images, okay? And to me, it still looks, I mean, the guy on the right still looks a little feminine to me, right? So I'm like, man, this is not what I want at all. So then I said again, okay, create a lifelike Afrocentric image of the biblical Cain and Abel. Again, they are close together, always with the foreheads touching, always close, as if any minute they could go into a kiss. Okay? And not only that, I said, try again. And here they are again with their foreheads touching. And again, it's like they're about to go into a kiss. And its explanation is, I generated an image with the prompt, lifelike Afrocentric biblical Cain and Abel. I'm like, why is it that when this thing is generating Afrocentric images of two men, it's like they are effeminate, almost as if they're going into some sort of, you know, I mean, even here, they're not fighting, but they're just touching, almost like they're playing patty cake. Like, come play with me. Come play with me. Come on. And so I said, you are failing. I said, this is poor. I'm like, you know, I was about to say this sucks. But now, check this out. Check this out. I said, try again, because you remember the one where their hands were touching up here, right? You see that? Their hands are touching. And I'm like, well, okay. I said, try again. I said, fighting is not playing patty cake. So it gives me this. Now, this is the correct image that I would have liked, okay? It's the correct image that I would have liked if they were the Afrocentric versions, which is what I was going for. And I said, Afrocentric version, remember? And then once again, it gives me this. And it's, to me, it's always kind of like, you know, I don't know, just like emotional and intimate and feeling. Okay. And I said, this is sad. I said, it's so sad. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, AI, your mama's a calculator. I mean, this is so bad. And it's trying to explain to me what it was doing. So then I said, I tried it again. I said, create. I said it again. I said, look. I said, create. You see here what I prompted, right? I said, create an Afrocentric image of Cain and Abel, and look at what it gave me. One is the more feminine version of the other. You know, the short hair, the earring, and the choker around the neck. I mean, it is, and again, they're close, like any second they can go into a kiss. Okay? And look at this one. I said, try again. I said, I don't like it. And look at what is, look, do you all see this? Do you all see this? Do you all see this? I said, yeah, try it again. I said, I don't like it. Because I asked originally for a lifelike image. And look at what it gave me. Now, is he trying to cop a feel here? I mean, what is going on here? And I'm like, you know what? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And it just goes on and on. It goes on and on. I can't, you know, they're always close, foreheads touching, right? Like any second they're about to go into a kiss. And no matter what I say, it always gave me this. Listen, I could not get this to do anything different. Do you see what I said here? I said, can't you create an image where they are not touching romantically? Okay? I said, can't you do that? And look at what it gave me. Look at what it gave me. You can tell which one is the feminine one, right? And then I said, you know what? Create an Afrocentric image of the biblical Jacob and Esau. And look at what it gave me. I'm like, maybe it has a problem. You know, I'm like, maybe it has a problem here with Cain and Abel. So then I said Jacob and Esau. And look, same thing, foreheads touching. Okay. Two male figures, but the foreheads are touching. Right? Again, close. I said, try again. Once again, close. Right? And I said, Esau was hairy. And then it gave me this. Now notice, when it comes to a lighter slash Middle Eastern looking person, then they separate them and their foreheads are not touching, right? What would seem to be almost like a black and white version, now their heads are not touching. Okay? And I'm just saying, hey, all I'm saying, is this conspiracy worthy? Is this a conspiracy? Right? Hey, I don't know. I don't know. But it's one thing for this to just do this, but then like to continue and to continue and to continue. I was using Grok X for that, and hey, we're just gonna have to, you know what? Okay, so Soprano Jesse. Okay, Soprano Jesse, give me your prompt. I'm gonna try it right here, right now. Send me the prompt. Tell me the prompt that you use, Soprano Jesse, and I'm gonna try it right here, right now, and I'm gonna see what it gives me, and I will show you all what it gives me live time right here. If you give me your prompt, okay, you use Chat GPT. I could not get Chat GPT to give me a lifelike image if I couldn't get it to give me a lifelike image for anything. So Grok is supposed to be better. Grok is supposed to be better than Chat GPT 4. Are you using Chat GPT 4.0? Suzette Clark. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. Shalom to you. Shabbat shalom to you, my sister. Suzette Clark in the house. Also, Christine is here, right? Christine Croning. I thought I saw you earlier. All right. Peace and blessings to you. Yeah. Let me, an Afrocentric image. Okay, I'm going to try that. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. I'm getting ready to try the prompt that Soprano Jesse just gave me, which was, I'm going to say create an Afrocentric lifelike image of brothers Cain and Abel. Okay, it's thinking about it. Notice I put in there exactly what her prompt was. OMG. Look at that. Foreheads still touching. Noses are touching. And both of them half naked. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is a shame. My brothers and my sisters, I'm sorry. This is crazy. Let me do this. So, is this conspiracy worthy? I'm going to go to chat. And let's do this. No, hold on. I want to put that, hold on here. Okay, I'm going to say create a life-like image of brothers Cain and Abel. All right, so let's see what it gives me. And I mean, that's okay. I mean, that's better, right? They don't look like they're about to kiss. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So, okay, maybe for generating, maybe for generating these images, maybe I will. By the way, Soprano Jesse, is your image kind of like this? I mean, how can they be twins? One look way older than the other. I mean, well, no, I mean they're okay. No, one was older than the other, but not that old, right? And I know, right? Soprano Jesse, I know, right? Because Soprano Jesse asked, well, why is Abel white? Well, you remember Abel was the righteous one. Oh, okay. So, all right. That's enough of that. That was funny to me. But hey, listen, I have thoroughly enjoyed this time together. Does anyone have any more questions before I skedaddle and we allow you to enjoy the rest of your Shabbat? Does anyone else have any other questions? What I'm going to do. So yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just pause here for a second, and we're going to just do another short little break, and then I'm going to ask if there are any other questions. All right, be right back.
Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video.
Oh man, I am. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I just read. I read Repentant and Save's comment, and oh, funny, man, amazing. Soprano Jesse said the righteous one. You all are so funny, man. You guys are hilarious. Yeah. Soprano Jesse said, white implies innocence and purity and good, so it also implies black is evil. Oh, and it's AI, so it's got to be right. All right, let me stop. I'm getting too silly here. Listen, I want to thank you all for joining us for this Shabbat morning coffee. I, of course, have had a wonderful time. Listen, what I am going to do, I want to move the Torah portion to Yom Arba'ah. I want to move that to Wednesdays, and I just want to move that to Wednesday so that we can have more time to do segments here. And let me know what you think about that, okay? Let me know what you think about that. And we will move on from there. Soprano Jesse says, not dogging on anybody who is white, by the way. He said, Sean is white. Sean is her husband. He said, Sean is white. And I love him. That's her husband. And they are great people. I love Sean and Jesse, man. I love them. You guys are good people, man. You guys are good people, and I appreciate you both, and all of you I appreciate. So let's do this. I want to give shouts out to each and every one of you. I'm so glad that you were here. There's so many of you to call you all out by name. Listen, every one of you, I do appreciate you and I love you. You guys, you help me fulfill my life purpose and my life dream. And I just simply want you to know that I do honestly love you. And I look at bringing better content, more content that's going to help you, that's going to feed you, and that's going to be, presented in a way that's going to edify you and strengthen you. So I pray that this has happened today. If there's anything else that you want to see or that you feel as if your life would be greatly helped by it, we usually have a food segment, but we didn't do the food segment today. But we will continue, Yah willing, we will continue with that in the future. So I want to thank each and every one of you. I love you dearly. Remember that you are Israel and you are no longer cursed. You are blessed in the city and blessed in the field. Everything that you put your hands to do is blessed. And I bless you. May the Most High smile upon you and keep you and protect you and bring you into ever-increasing levels of wisdom, truth, love, and prosperity. I'm Melky Uriel, and guess what? We will see you next time, Yah willing. Peace and blessings to you. I don't think we have any more questions or comments. I think we're going to go ahead and bid you adieu. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, family. Love you.